It's Wednesday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today is Sir Pumpkin Jack. You know who God. How you doing today?
Doing great, and you can just say PJ. It's fine.
Well, I know you as such, but I want to make sure the KOK viewers know you as such.
The formalities only really work during court and whatnot, maybe through RP, but PJ is just fine. I've been known as PJ for the last 15 years, so I'm all good.
Well, let's jump right into the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. How long have you been playing Amp Guard?
I started Amp Guard. I don't remember exactly when, but I do have an award from June of 2004. So I like to start that as where I really began my Amp Guard career.
Yeah, your old orc has you at 2004. Just as
okay.
Does Kodiak do his research? Yes, he does.
Oh God, what else have you found? Guys, I might need to go away.
So, you started in 2004, but how long have you known about Amp Guard?
I've known about Amp Guard actually. So the week before I started, I was actually at Books A Million playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So I was really into card games when I was a kid. So it went from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh. So I went down there at Books A Million on Saturday. We were hanging out playing cards, and the guy I was dueling with, he goes, "Hey, so I do this, but in real life." And I was like, "What?" Tell me when, where, I will be there. So the next day, actually, it was Sunday, it was a park day. I showed up there, and being a 14-year-old kid, I decided that I was going to wear, dress pants and a dress shirt and nice shoes and go show up and, talk to everybody and find out. That was not the kind of thing that it was. It was sticks, fighting, people yelling at each other, and it seemed like a whole lot of fun. So ever since then, really, I've been in the game. I did take a small hiatus for a little bit between the ages of 17 and 21 because as a teenager, I had a job, I want to get money. So, but I'm back and been back for like the last 10 years. Oh God.
Okay, so where does the persona name Pumpkin Jack come from?
Okay, so that is an interesting question because it actually happened in 2005. SKBC happened just outside of Atlanta, and my former knight, back when I was first belted to her as a page, she actually volunteered to take me and a couple other friends, and we're going to go up there for the whole weekend, it was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of deal, and just learn some stuff because there were some greats there. The biggest one I remember was Sir Spin. I'd heard about him before, and I wanted to meet him and take one of his classes. Mm-hmm. So after one day of ditching a lot and going back and forth between classes, I start walking back to the cabin we were staying in, and one of my friends, Duck, he's affectionately known as Super Duck, he imbibed in some stuff, not alcohol. He decided that he was going to smoke some cigarettes, and he was a little out of his mind. He was like, "Hey, look at Bruce looking like Pumpkin Jack," and as I'm walking up, mind you, I was wearing this atrocious fall-colored garb. I had a nice dark brown tunic that was T-shaped. I was wearing these pants that were day glow orange and like goldenrod. So I looked like a walking epitome of fall. So at first it was kind of like they were teasing me with it, but I kind of accepted it, and it's kind of developed into this whole thing, this whole persona that I have had since I was 16. Yeah, about 16, 17. I think it's my 17th birthday was when I actually finally embraced it and actually took on everything and just kind of let it develop itself.
That's awesome. Does Pumpkin Jack have a backstory?
It depends on what I'm playing and like how I'm playing. So typically PJ is my bard. That is my master bard I got back in V7, and it's just loud, rambunctious, in your face. I'm going to cast as many CCs as I can on you. I'm going to do whatever it takes just to make the field into chaos. Of course, my barbarian is not much different from that, really. So basically, just loud and rambunctious is really how I portray the PJ as myself.
So Nim had asked, why a pumpkin? But you've answered that. It actually had nothing to do with your choice. Someone called you.
It kind of came to me, and it was like, well, I could go a different route and have the name, but have a different kind of sigil. And I was like, a pumpkin kind of fits me. I'm kind of thick. skinned, thick-skinned. I'm kind of a bigger guy, unfortunately. You know, I've been heavier most of my life, and it seemed like it also like it's one of those things where people don't really know you, but they still call you by a pet name. It feels like it's like, hey, pumpkin. I mean, just to me, it's entertaining. So
No, I felt really good the day that we had met last year at GOTC, and
I think we actually met the year prior, but we didn't actually get to talk.
Right. Yeah. Well, last year down on the during a tournament, you were like, "Hey, just call me PJ," and I was like, "Oh, oh, look at me."
Oh, he's fangirling. Oh,
I'm fangirling.
you chose the wrong person to fangirl over because I still fangirl.
Well, like we can fangirl together. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay, all right. Because like whenever, like Linda's a friend of mine, but like I fangirl whenever I see her and whenever I talk to her, because like I still hold her up there in such high regard. It's like Randall. I can fangirl over Randall too, because well, that is a great person.
He is fantastic.
So,
but this is about you. So
I know, but like still, I'm gonna plug, my other peers as well, because
sure. That's good. What would you say is the most proud? What award would you say is the most proud you are of receiving?
That is a interesting question. I wish I had a little more time to prep for that one, but unfortunately I don't. So there's really a couple that I'm really fond of. First, my 90 scroll, which was made by my Grand Knight, Sir Nocturne. It's a leather scroll, and it's got the headless horseman on there, and it says "Let thee be known," and it's gorgeous. It's got a nice parchment on there. I thought about bringing it, but it's hung up on my wall in my bedroom. So there's also my Duke title I really enjoyed because it came out of nowhere. It was actually about 5 minutes before I was knighted, before they did the ceremony. He called me up, Sir Kelbo, who fortunately he's passed last year. But he called me up 5 minutes before the ceremony and was like, "Okay, you guys, we're giving them this as well." And it was a nice surprise. And one of the ones I've gotten recently as well that I really enjoy was one that I got from a freehold. It was the Shire of Valkyrie's Reach. It's the Valkyries Chosen. Their leader, Matthew Howard. I can't remember his game name off the top of my head. Fortunately, you meet so many people in this game, it's hard to pinpoint everyone. And if you say the wrong name, I don't want to offend him. But Matt's a sweet person, and he gave me this award last time we saw each other in person at a Kingdom event. And he was like, "Hey man, we really do appreciate you helping us out. Helping us get things off the ground. Even though like I feel like I didn't really do that much. Like all I offer is advice, and sometimes I guess that's all it takes."
Yep.
So I guess 3 awards: my Valkyrie's Chosen, my Duke title, and my 90 scroll.
Okay. I was going to mention the washer. Something with doing well with taking a nut shot was also an award.
Okay, so there was one for testicular fortitude.
Yep.
That was because when I was a teenager, I got targeted in the groin a lot. One of my probably favorite / like haunting memories was Warlord Gunn. He's up in Winter's Edge. We've actually started the same park together in Valdosta, Georgia, which is where I'm currently I'm currently reside. Mm-hmm. He was a phenomenal shot, still is, and he's a great swordsman. But I was playing Wizard, 6th level, brand new to being 6th level Wizard, my first class. I was like, okay, I know he's an archer, so I'm gonna take oh gosh, I can't remember the spell. It was V6. But anyway, it gave you 1 immunity. So I took Pro Projectile, and it gave you 1 Protect. So I go rushing up to him, and he fires his bow back, and I go, Pro Projectile, and he drops it and lets go of the arrow. So even though I had Pro Projectile, I still got caught right in the groin and collapsed. Wasn't dead, but I wished I was. The other one, I think it was called the Technician of the Baby Washer. We were having a fundraiser in here. It was, where were we at the time? We had just started as Forsaken Hollow, so we were still building up our name around the community. So we had a fundraiser, and it was, what was it? Car wash. Oh my gosh, can't think of the word. Sorry. But we had a car wash, and I was just yelling random things like, "We'll wash anything. We'll wash your truck. We'll wash your wife. We'll wash your babies." And somebody just happened to catch on to that and just decided to run with it. And so next time they were Monarch, they decided to hand me that award. I completely forgot all about that.
Well, again,
yeah. Definitely makes an entertaining story at the very least.
Right. So what would you say is your favorite battle game?
Battle game?
Yeah.
Um, I really do like class battles. I know, granted, V8's not built for it, but I do like Mutual Annihilation. But typically, if it has an objective, I will usually lately, especially during V8, I'll play Archer. I'll sit back and I will just fire off arrows wherever I can. One of my favorite memories with that actually, was with Squire Roran, who's actually my Squire's husband. We were at Clan. I think it was last year, right before it decided to like downpour. We were playing one of their last battle games, and Kato, who is, I can't remember exactly where he's from, but I always see him at Clan, and I always enjoy talking with him and hanging out with him when I can. But Kato was sitting behind a shield, and he was playing Monk with a pole. So I was like, "Hey, Philip, Rory, want to get him?" So I take my bow, I fire, get him right in the arm. As he's going to heal himself, Philip takes his bow, fires the arrow, gets his other hand. So like, in just basically split second between all that happening, it was probably one of my favorite shots I got to do and got to partake in. So to answer that question, just whatever I can play Archer in.
Okay. So what would you say is your favorite class?
Class, once again, that's going to be probably another loaded question, but I did really enjoy playing Bard. But after V8, I felt like I didn't really know what all was going on with it. So I kind of retired that for a little bit. And then I turned around and started playing Barbarian and Archer a lot because it's so much fun. So with Barbarian, I'm usually up there. I want to be up in the action, center of attention. Don't look at them. You look at me. You focus. I am your threat. Even though like I'm not like the greatest swordsman, it's still fun. I still enjoy acting it out. And then archery, once again, just pounding off specialty arrows because why not?
Okay. And then El Diablo would like to know, what's your favorite weapon?
My favorite weapon. So I typically run sword and board. So I did bring some stuff for show and tell. So this is actually what my squire brother made me back when I first got knighted as one of my gifts. It's plastic with my phoenixes on there. And then my wonderful shield, which if you catch me at an IKE, I will always have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a lot of praise for it, even though I didn't make it. It was made by Angel's Armory. It's a guy down in Kestrel Keep, which is down in Florida. It was amazing plastic work. Trying to plug that too. I told him I would. I mean, he's got a sigil on the back of there too, showing where it came from. But I do miss my. I used to have a great club that I could wield one-handed. It was an almost 6-foot club. That as long as I wore my bracers and my one of my lacrosse gloves, I could actually lock it to where I could just swing it one-handed. And it was probably a good maybe 5 pounds. So, which to me is kind of light for a weapon that was that big. I mean, because it was probably that size around. And I used to have a battle mandolin that I had made. It looked like a tennis racket made of foam, but it was designed to look like a mandolin. Probably one of the worst weapons I'd ever made, but it was a lot of fun playing when I was leveling up Bard.
That's great. Okay, so that is the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Now we're going to go to the 3 questions that the members of Kingdom of Kodiak have asked every week,
Okay.
and we have to ask you. Tron would like to know about Sir Glenelf's toaster and possible soda maker.
Oh, I remember this question because I watched Raiders last week, which I really enjoyed watching. So his soda maker and his toaster. You have to remember what the question was because I was not paying attention.
When will Sir Glenelf get his toaster and possibly get a soda maker?
Okay, so is there like an award system here? Is he close to it? Is there any stipulation to this? What do I get out of it?
Well, I mean, Sir Glenelf is lacking a toaster. Now we've come to the conclusion here on KOK that the soda maker is kind of like a extra, is a bonus. It's
not really one of the bare necessities. A toaster is very useful because I mean you can make pita pockets with tortillas out of it. You can make toaster strudels. You can make toast. Oh my god, toast is like the best invention that comes out of a toaster. Like who would have thought?
I mean, you could be baking it.
I'd say as long as he makes me probably an Eggo or a waffle or a toast, I'm cool with it. He can have mine.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
Glenn, the new response is if you're willing to cook for people, you can have a toaster. But PJ does live in Florida, just as a
Technically, I live in Georgia. I'm about 20 minutes from
Georgia.
the Florida border,
Yeah,
so
okay. All
but
right.
close enough.
Well,
If he comes to Clan, I'll bring my toaster.
okay. All right. Still would like to know, what are your thoughts on bears?
Okay, that is a wonderful question. I think I had notes on that. Okay, so I don't remember. There's a question. Did write down something about bears, but I don't remember if it was a question that she asked or a question that someone else asked pertaining to bears. Oh yeah, because they said, "Are bears real?" That's a different question entirely. Um, so my thoughts on bears, like they kind of scare me a little bit. They are big apex predators that if I go near them wrong, they will knock my head off, and then I will just explode into guts and seeds, and I don't like that.
It's true. Beatrix would like to know, what or who is your favorite bear?
Okay, so I know the answer, and I'm gonna get flack for it, but it's not Baloo, and it's not Little John. Of course, it's Kodiak.
Woo! 3-0 still hat.
Oh, I didn't know it was 3-0. Now I kind of want to give it to her.
No, it's too late. You already said it. Doesn't count. You said it.
Like secretly, got you still hat.
No, if you're unaware, the Kingdom of Dragonspine has a plethora of bears in its kingdom monarchy currently. So this has become a running thing.
Yeah.
Still would like to know if she is the best bear. You kind of just spoiled it by giving it to me, but then giving it to her.
I mean, with the amount of questions she's asked me, I saw with on the page, like she's easily up there. Like she's definitely in the running.
Yeah.
So you better be on your game, Kodiak. Just
Well,
saying.
you know, I don't sleep, so let's just keep, stay on the grind. And then, of course, Stillhat would also like to know if Nimbus would be the best owl bear. A little bit of insight here. Tajima, father of Nimbus, represents a bird-like creature as his animal, and Stillhat, mother of Nimbus, is a bear, and they've come together to form the Nimbus.
Wait, she's asking me if her son is the best owl bear?
Yes.
I feel like it's a little biased now because, like, I almost feel obligated to say yes because if I don't, then she's gonna find me and like just get me for basically defaming her cub.
Yeah, you're gonna be spilled all over, seeds everywhere. It's
Definitely, Nimbus is the best owl bear, and if anybody else says anything, I will cry because I'm not gonna fight them.
All right, and then our last general question: what are your thoughts on Dragonspine's mobile pool?
I believe actually that it was upgraded to a park, a water park, was it not?
Well, so that's part of the question. So Dragonspine was talking about a pool, then it was a jacuzzi, and then it got upgraded to a water park. And I don't know where the water park came from, but all of a sudden, there's a traveling water park in Dragonspine. How do you feel about all three?
I am definitely on for it. I mean, it's a wonderful idea. You get to cool off because I know it's hot over there, and it's hot as heck down here.
Yeah.
Especially when it gets humid in the summertime. Everyone needs a good water park or pool, some sort of like water source where they can just chill and relax.
Okay. Now I'm going to preface this question by letting you know that Stillhat asked it, so you don't get scared. Would bears be allowed in any of the three?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as they are good law, but no, I'm not gonna say it that way because that sounds really bad. I'm sorry. As long as they are. God, I had a word for this earlier. I wrote down, like I said, pages of notes earlier for questions, and like, because I want to be prepared. And what am I not? I'm not prepared.
Well, these are the questions that weren't there for you to look at. I got to keep my interviewees on their toes.
I know, and I'm sitting in a chair, which is really difficult to do. Keeping me on my toes, not like being in a chair. Yeah.
All right, don't worry about it. Those are the general questions. You, as a knight, have 3 categories of questions.
Okay.
I didn't categorize them, and I'll tell you why. I didn't want to. Here we go.
Fair enough. Okay.
Category 1. What are your goals in Amtgard now, and have they changed since you became a knight?
Okay, so the goal is kind of ever evolving for me. So at first, yeah, when I first started playing the game, I wanted to be a knight. Everyone does, especially when you're a teenager, you're looking up to people. And the park I came from originally was Dragon's Keep, and there was nobody there who they had a couple red belts. Nobody there was actually a knight, and it was really cool to go to my first my first kingdom event, and see people walking around that are like, I don't know what you did, but I'm gonna ask you questions because I mean they obviously have a white, they earned it for something. So of course I was shyer then, so it was more like I want to ask you questions, but I can't because I can't talk to people yet because I don't know how. And now it's not an issue. So, but since I became one, it's definitely it's evolved what I want to do. So my next like not hard goal is to eventually get my roses up so I can get my flame belt because I would like to have that notch too because I'm at 8 roses, so I'm not that far off. It's not infeasible, but I would do want other people to have the chance to be able to have a chance to join the peerage before I decide to pursue it too hard because I want it to be more diverse. Have a bigger circle because then it's not the same small group of people going yes, no, this is what we're gonna do. Then it's more voices. So the like ultimate end goal I want to do is just to have a nice like a warm legacy to leave behind because eventually, I mean, oh, kick the bucket. We're not all going to be here forever, but I just want to remember fondly for being a good person, being jovial, helping out those who've needed, and getting really serious here. Sorry.
That's the word. Forever and always. You are a fantastic person, so no worries.
Just wait till you like get to know me more. You'll be like, yeah, he's still a good person, but like he probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, I don't regret anything I say ever, so.
Oh, I say dumb things at times. It's like there's no filter, and it's just like I can't take that back. Why did I say that?
It's fine. We're all human. Okay, so this next question actually comes with a little bit of a minor speech. I printed it off. It's not that long. It is from Beatrix, though. I don't know you, but those colors and that look is fly as heck. What inspired your look and the wonderful colors?
Okay, so this one I actually did prep a little bit for. I did see the question, so I was like, awesome. I kind of want to answer this one because it helped like define who I became later on. So back when you're a teenager, everyone's kind of dark brooding. Everyone's wearing dark colors. Especially at my park, everyone was wearing it was blue and black, it was red and black, it was purple and black. Just like why? It actually started like branching out into trying different colors. It actually started when we were all playing Gaia Online, if you guys can remember that far back. Um, so we were at my friend's house, and his mom was like, "You guys all look the same. Your avatars are all the same. Why not try something different? Choose one color, and go on that." So first my initial color was like blue. I like blue. We're gonna do that. But one of my best friends, Michael, who was actually playing Epcor with us at the time, his name was Nonami, no name. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna choose blue because I don't want to step on his toes. So kind of like purple. We'll try that out and see how it goes. So I started wearing it. It's like this is a nice dark color. I really like this. And then naturally, I mean, once I got the name PJ, pumpkins are orange generally. I mean, you have a few oddities here and there. You have whites, you have greens, you have yellows, but generally, for the most part, they're orange. So I decided to just kind of smash those together because I thought it was something you don't really see every day. Now, granted, there was a household in the time of never when I was growing up, House Fun, and they used bright orange, dark purple, and lime green. I did encroach on them a little bit by using lime green, mostly as an accent, because I mean, what's a pumpkin without a stem? So I feel kind of bad about that, but they grew to accept it because I mean I was a teenager and I was having fun, I was enjoying it, and plus I mean generally I'm very personable. I'm not like the jerk you're gonna find on the field, the storm. But just to go back, I mean it was kind of grew out of like the whole like the dark brooding phase everyone gets into, and then kind of branching out. Plus, I mean, I can see myself in videos and pictures on when I click Facebook and go, okay, there's me, there's me. Oh, I'm wearing my neon yellow pants. Sorry, guys. Actually, I was actually playing assassin when I was leveling up. I had a nice bright silver tunic, and neon yellow pants. So that was probably my favorite time, like to wear those colors, because somebody was like, "You don't get looked apart," and I was like, "Why not?" Because that's not what assassins wear. It's like, okay, so when you're out in nature and something's poisonous, how can you tell? Bright colors.
Yep.
So I was like, it worked. So I got to like trick my way into that one. That's kind of where I knew I could play bard and probably get away with it too. So
That's great. So the
hopefully that
follow-up,
answers your question.
well, yes, but she does have a follow-up question, and it is, why does she want to be your friend by looking at your garb? Why is that?
Because I did see hashtag colors shook, so I'm not exactly sure what that means, but sure. I mean, I'm definitely, she wants to hit me on Facebook, add me as a friend, and look at all my silly pictures I have throughout the years, and hit me up with questions. Because I mean, I sew pretty regularly. I mean, I made that. That was one of my quals when I first became my second term as Kingdom Regent. So, I mean, I got nothing. Forgot. Lost train of thought.
No worries.
It's one of those days.
So-
Sorry, I get off work and then like take care of the animals and like set up for all this because I wanted to make sure everything was fine. I didn't want to like embarrass myself because I do that a lot.
Oh, you got nothing to worry about. So a question I had pertaining to garb is, what was your favorite piece of garb that you made?
That I made. Okay, there are several pieces that I've made that I really like. Unfortunately, I don't own most of them anymore. I've either given them out or sold them off. One of the ones that I made that I own is probably my this was actually my first fitted tunic that I made based off Sir Fitz's tutorial. If you can find it, it's Fitz. It's Callison Armory is where I got the original tutorial to do it. And it's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I've modified it a little bit, kind of use it as my own. But for those who don't know, this is actually the symbol for the keyword for probably one of my favorite bands ever, Coheed and Cambria. And it's a pain in the half to do because it's all organic shapes. And getting your sewing machine to go in those lines when you're still starting on applique is a huge pain. This is probably one of my favorite pieces I still own. Granted, I can't fit into it because COVID has not been friendly to my weight. Probably one of the other pieces that I made that I really enjoy that I don't own anymore that fit me wonderfully. Actually, I went to my Squire Gilly. It's her Green Lantern tunic. It's nice, beautiful dark green. It's got the patch here with the Green Lantern symbol with some stripes on it, and to me, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a couple spots where I'm not happy with, but that's kind of how I am with every piece I make. There's something there that I don't like, but it's still, as I can't do. I could probably try to fix it, but I don't want to mess it up further. So
That's cool. I'm glad that your work has made it out to the world. So that's
yeah. I mean, I do sell pieces as well when I have time. Lately, I've been so backed up that I have not been able to. Thankfully, with COVID, I've been able to keep working.
Mhm.
But with the stress of the pandemic, not people do anything. It's go home, worry, sleep, get up, go to work, go home, worry, sleep. It's a continuous cycle, and it's definitely been detrimental to my crafting.
Okay. Well, when you get back into the swing of things and you start crafting again, let me know and I'll start sending people your way.
Okay, it's gonna be a little bit because I do have a couple backed up that I really should have gotten finished by now that I feel terrible for, but I definitely I'm working on things to get it to where I can start crafting again and actually enjoy it. So if I don't enjoy it, it's not gonna come out well at all.
I don't think there's a retirement age in Amp so take your time. We'll just
Yeah, but when it's a commission and it's paid for, then I feel terrible.
well, right, but I just won't send people to you until you're ready.
Oh yeah,
and then-
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Bex, we were talking about her before we started today. We love
Mhm.
Bex. Bex is amazing.
Every time I get to talk to her, I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
She seems absolutely sweet. I was actually there at her knighting. But I'm sorry, go ahead. It's her question.
What's your favorite Kingdom event and Inner Kingdom event, and why for each?
Okay, so for my favorite kingdom event, so the local kingdom, because I could choose other kingdoms too for their local events, but I'm gonna stick close to home.
Mhm.
So, favorite kingdom event typically is Mid-Rain, not just because it's practically in my backyard, it's like a 20-minute drive for me, but because generally what we do here in Neverwinter is that we try to make it a teaching event. This is all sorts of. Oh well, it's coming off now. It's too warm anyway. So generally, we try to make it a teaching event. So what we'll do is we'll pair up somebody who's really interested in cratting and someone who's kind of a veteran of it, so they know what they're doing. And we'll team them up together, pair them off, and we'll have the more experienced player. They'll teach the person how to basically the ins and outs of the position. So with budgeting, any sort of scheduling conflicts, which thankfully for most crats, scheduling isn't on their part. It's more left up to the autocrat, unless some things have to run at certain times, like our weapon master, any of our dragon masters or whatnot. Anything that happens like that, that's on a bigger scale. But to me, I think it's very beneficial for us that we make that opportunity to do that. So local will be Mid-Rain, and then for Inner Kingdom, it's gonna be hard. One of my favorites to go to is Clan, because we'll basically take a truckload. The first couple years we took a small carload. So the first year it was me, Rada, my regent Myth, and my current squire Gilly as well. So both Rada and Gilly were both belted to me. We drove nonstop, 24 hours to get to Clan. Second year we did the same thing with different people, and then the third year we rented a 12-person van, and then brought a Neverwinter fleet up there. So Clan kind of holds a special place for me. I do enjoy Keep when I get to go, but unfortunately it falls during a time of the year where it's hard to take off work because we're starting to pick up. What I do for work is entirely separate, entirely different thing. I keep saying entirely. Stop saying entirely. I do enjoy going to Symposium too, which is a Winter's Edge based event, which they fly instructors from all over the country to come in. I've met a number of people doing that, and it's phenomenal what they get to turn it into. Last year I did start teaching at it too with a basic tunic class, which this year I was actually on schedule to do it as well. But with COVID and the uncertainty of what's going to happen in February, which is typically when it takes place, they went ahead and just canceled the event. So hopefully the year after I can continue teaching there too, because I kind of enjoy that aspect as well. So Mid-Rain for local, and we'll probably stick with Clan for our Inner Kingdom.
I want to tell a little bit of story about Clan. This last year at GOTC, my apologies, in 2019, you guys got there and the van pulled in and it was downpouring. But I had been sitting right at the main cabin waiting for you guys to get there. And I ran up to the van and Rada, big hugs and stuff. Super excited to see the Neverwinter people, big time. But little plug for Kodiak waiting in the rain. So
actually, it rained a lot that weekend too.
Yes.
Between raining out battle games, we had the hail that came through, and there was probably a good like 15 of us at the bottom of the valley, just waiting in one of those pop-ups, waiting for the rain to come down. They were like, "Guys, it's a flash flood warning." So somebody starts yelling down, "Come back to the feast hall!" So we left behind so much stuff; it all got so soaked. My bow did not make it through, unfortunately, so I had to get new limbs. But it was crazy, like how much it rained that weekend.
Yeah, I had the entire wheel fighting company in my cabin because the bottom layer of cabins flooded out. So they all just piled into cabin 4 and were hacky sacking while I was at the COM meeting.
I mean, at least you weren't in a tent. Thankfully, I mean, I know enough about tenting that like if you tent on a hill, you point your flats facing down, so you don't get soaked if it does decide to rain. So
right. All right. So you told us that you did 24 hours to get to GOTC a couple of years ago. Well, tell us your favorite Amtgard cross-country traveling story.
Oh gosh. So I've taken a couple trips now. We've done 3 to Clan, which would have been 4 this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. And then we did one. I started in here from Valdosta. You know what? We'll probably do Keep 2017. So I live in Valdosta, so I drove to Marietta where I met up with some friends. Valkyrie, her roommate Jarek. I think it was just four. Yeah, it was just four of us. So we spent the night at their house, then drove to pick up Kazan, Sir Kazan, who lives probably about an hour away. Drove the clan, had fun at clan, and then as we're driving back, I mean, it's pretty uneventful because I slept most of the time. Because what else are you really gonna do on a long car trip? Because it's about 19 hours from my house to get there to Illinois, where it was. I think it was Illinois or Indiana. Illinois because I had pizza from Illinois for the first time, and it was actually really good, Chicago deep dish style. Um, so as we get back to Atlanta, this is when the hurricane had just hit off the coast of Texas. So all of the oil and all the gas was either being hoarded by people or they were just straight running out. So I had to work the next morning because we got back on Sunday and I was trying to drive. So I had Jarek and Valkyrie both calling different gas stations along the way to try to find me somewhere where I could get gas. Thankfully, I found one that was also a Dunkin' Donuts, so I could stop for coffee as well. But their price was not cheap, so it cost me an arm and a leg just to get my truck from Atlanta back down to my house, which is about a 4-hour drive. I ended up passing out along the way at a rest stop to nap for like 2 hours, and went to work just dead tired. Oh God.
Wow.
Between that, I mean, during our regular car trips, when it comes to the long drives, it's conversation could range just about anywhere from like, I don't know, scientific theory to LARP to what we had breakfast the day before. It's just, you just never know. We're all just so comfortable with each other, the people who technically ride, that it's just, you never know what we're going to say or what's going to happen.
Okay. And the final question in this category before we start talking about knighthood, you are a Paragon Bard.
Mhm.
So could you give us some suggestions, someone who is trying to become a Paragon and specifically a Paragon Bard?
Unfortunately, I can't weigh in as much as I used to because with the rule change, like I said, I got my master in V7. So that was a different ballpark entirely because back then we could pick up Druid Magic. We could pick up, we could basically play any first level class in conjunction with our Bard class as well with Mimic. So Mimic and Voice are probably my favorite abilities to go with. When I do end up playing Bard now, it's not as effective. I'm not as like great and grandstanding as I used to be. Sorry, I typically turn to like just a mana battery now. So I'll take all the things that can refresh everybody. I wish I could give better advice, but I'm not as up to snuff on VA Bard as I used to be a V7 Bard. So I'm sorry to let any future Paragon Bards down. I can point you in the right direction though. If you have any questions, I will point you to some of our current and local Paragons who are absolutely phenomenal. We do have Sir Regan, who is a Paragon Bard and Paragon Healer. My roommate, who's not a Paragon, but probably should be because he studies the rulebook in and out, and it's crazy. Like the things he can come up with between the magic classes. Probably one of the few people I know that if they actually put their mind to it, could probably Paragon all four easily. He's got one though. He's got Healer, which is probably his favorite, which is why he didn't really pursue the other ones. So.
All right. So we're in the category at this point, and we got to start off with your beginning. Could you tell us about your vigil and your knighting?
Okay, so I didn't necessarily have a vigil. When it comes to things like that, I feel awkward when people like either give praise or give too much advice. I don't know how to take it. So I wanted to not have to experience the awkwardness essentially of it all. And plus, being on the receiving end, somebody talks to me like that, I don't want to make them feel awkward either because I basically feels like I grew up in this game. So I knew essentially what was expected of me before I even took the title, before I even accepted it. So I did have people like come to me afterwards, and we basically had a small party. So we got to have some drinks together, mostly water and juice and Kool-Aid. Drinking's bad. And for the nighting itself, it was, I'm gonna tell y'all, I nearly cried during it, mostly because of my night. So I got to bring in my family along. I got to actually, at least my mom, because my brother, unfortunately, he's special needs, so it's harder for him to get away. from the house very long. Or if he is, yeah. So her husband actually watched him for the weekend while she came down and enjoyed and met everybody that I'd been familiar with for so long. Because she actually, when I first started, she got to play. Um, she played for a little bit too and got to hang out and help out around the park. So we actually I made sure it was live streamed. So we had somebody take my phone and put it on Facebook. Unfortunately, the video didn't take, so it kind of disappeared into the ether. Because originally I wanted to have it because I have a lot of friends in Winter's Edge. So to me, I wanted to be able to include them because I know they can't travel as far as it was because that site's 3 hours from my house, and they're at the very least 4 hours over me. So 7 hours just from the very bottom of Winter's Edge to come to our event was going to be a lot. So I tried to include them as much as I could because I mean they're really dear friends and I've known them for ages. It feels like. So the person who actually officiated over my knighting was the late Sir Kelbo. Because to me it was a great honor because I looked to this guy for a while. He was practically like my Lark dad because we all have a parental figure we all look up to. Just like my former knight, Sir Venus, she was my Amcard mom. She still is. I still call her that. It's always Mama V because we find it entertaining and try to get on her nerves because do as kids do. So when they actually started the ceremony, they brought everybody up. They called for my extended belt line, which is oh my god, a lot of people because we're kind of far reaching.
Oh, we're gonna here shortly.
Sorry, that's gonna go off. If you think I go on tangents now and go off on little, that's a different story because that's actual lines. But as she's putting the belt on, she goes, "Okay, so this is the belt. You see this red bandana? This was Cody's." And I was like, "What?" A couple years prior, I had a page of mine who died in a car accident. So, and he was like this little gunslinger kid, and just amazing, wonderful personality, amazing spirit. And the bandana that was attached to my belt that I was being knighted with was a bandana that he always wore. And like I was sitting there going like, "Oh my god, you're saying like this," because I'm trying to hold back. Cause like that's to me that was super emotional and kind of personal, and I didn't know how to take it. So and when you get overwhelmed, unfortunately, sometimes tear will leak out. So, but the ceremony itself was fairly quiet. It was a long welcoming line though, and I got punched a lot in the buffet line. Next time around, if it happens again, I don't think I want that because Sir Darian decided to do a 1-inch punch and left me a bruise. I think he got me in the chest and left a bruise for a good while. I didn't realize he could hit that hard. But the welcoming line itself was long. I think just about the whole hall actually got into it. And, at least, congratulations, gave me a hug, shook hands. Some people handed me some honey tasting juice as well, which was really good. I got to meet a lot of, not meet, but I got to talk to again, people I hadn't talked to all weekend because unfortunately, whenever I'm at an event, I do a lot, even though I wasn't supposed to because we try to keep it as a tradition that if it's your knighting, you don't do anything at the event. I snuck away and was able to get away with some stuff that they just didn't know about. So there's that. But all in all, like my knighting itself was to me it's very emotional. It was a nice event that I was actually happy to be able to share with everybody else. Because when I was told before, everything happened, that it's not just about you during that event. It's the whole kingdom celebrating your accolades. Basically coming together to almost essentially thank you for all the stuff you've done, especially as being a crown knight. I mean, it's stress over years. So I went from Kingdom Regent to Kingdom Monarch, and it just continuously for 2 years, just every day there was something that I had to take care of, something that came up that needed to be dealt with. It's not just like I'm not knocking on other paths, but there's certain times of year that some of the paths get to like really shine. Like for a sword knight, you're going to find those in your kingdom tournaments. So your weapon master, your crown quals, those where they're really going to shine because they're going to basically take the field. They're going to hopefully win that tournament. You have your serpent knights who during Dragon Masters, any sort of like high-end kingdom competitions, that's where they're going to shine. And it's typically for us, it's 2 to 4 times a year for those. your flame knights to continuously doing service, but the times they really shine, especially when you get to the higher echelons of that award system, it's their kingdom events is where they're really going to shine. I mean, you don't get to see the day-to-day stuff that, being King of Dragonspine, everyone doesn't really see what all's going on behind the scenes that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's grating. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got quite a few more gray hairs from just my terms alone, and it's only been getting more since there. It makes you like, there's some days where it's like, was this worth it? But it's always going to be worth it because
Yep.
it's not just for you at the end of the day. It's you're helping out your new generation that's coming up. You're being the guiding light essentially with that's how we symbolize the white belt. It's the guiding beacon, and it's to let people know that, hey, if you have any questions, you come see me. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to find someone who does. That's very knowledgeable. It's going to help you out on your path. So I know I went from how's my ceremony to like talking about my experience. Sorry, tangents. I do that a lot.
I love it. Sir Francis would like to point out that whiskey is corn juice. So
It wasn't whiskey.
well, okay. Well, meat is honey juice. So
That's what I was talking about. The honey juice. Haha.
yeah. All right. Stillhat would like to know, what is a belt line and why should Kodiak join one?
Okay, so everyone's experience with the belt lines is going to be a little bit different. For me, when it comes to at least my direct line, be it the person who is over me, people who are under me, my underbelts, it's like a family. We're here to support you and help you out basically any way you need to. It's not like an ownership thing. I don't own you. You're my sibling, or I look up to you as a parental figure. So as a family, we're there for you no matter what it is, be it game, be it mundane. Like before COVID, like Rada would always come up. Like she'd always come because she lives 3 hours away in Orlando. So she'd come up and hang out for the weekend, go down. Or we'd go down to her house, spend the night, which we did at least like twice now. It's easier for one person to go one place than it is to have a massive van load and go down and
Right.
go over somebody's house, because I always feel like she lives with her dad and I don't want to encroach on his time with her, because that's personal family time too, even though like we see each other as family. That's her dad. But why should you join one? Honestly, I can't give you that answer. Like I said, each person is going to have their different experiences, and if you feel that you want to, by all means go for it, but you don't need a belt to either succeed or fail in this game. Yes, it does help every once in a while with some things, especially if you have that person you can always go to, like throwing names out there. I know one of the big names I know out there in Dragonspine, if you're belted to Sir Randall, he would be like, okay, this is my advice. This is what I think you should do. And if you don't have that, granted, yes, you don't have that full connection, but I'm pretty sure you can go to anybody and be like, hey, I need advice on how to do this. Especially if like the path you're in, I'm assuming you're going for crown because you ran for king again. So just in case, even if you don't want to go for knighthood, you don't have to. No one's going to be like, you have to take this. No, you can decline. I've seen people do it. It's not unheard of. And it's not unheard of to get a knight's belt or be a mentor without somebody over you. I mean, I've known several knights who have gotten to knighthood without being part of a belt line. Sir Donnie Darko, out of Winter's Edge, who moved to, he moved out west and then came back. So I mean, he was one of the ones that I always use as example as you don't need to be part of a belt line in order to succeed in the game. So I mean, if you feel you're ready, if you feel you need to talk to somebody and you want to be built to somebody, which I mean, shaking your head, I can see you don't really want to go that route. But if you do, what I would suggest is talking to the person that you're interested in, or even if you're going to find somebody under you, like talk to people, be open with communication, and just find what's expected. What kind of mentorship you guys want. So I mean, because you can have a belt line where it's like you do as I say. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not saying I know people who operate like that, but it's probably not unheard of. But I like having my huge extended family outside of my actual like bloodline family, because it helps me with some things that I know I can't talk about, because like my family doesn't really understand everything I have to go through with this. But Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's basically the gist I'm going to get to.
No, Stella absolutely knows that that's the answer. That I'm not going to join a belt line. I just did. I don't. I have social anxieties about talking to people, but I accept the challenge. If I need help, I go to a knight and I'll talk to a knight.
Yeah.
I don't need to have that the belted relationship. They're all mentors. They're all beacons, as you said.
Yep.
So we do that. And no, I'm not pursuing a belt. I know that I can lead, and we needed leaders. So
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being known. Hey, guys, this is my goal eventually. This is what I would like to do. It's okay to have that goal and have it known. Just don't make that your sole focus, because you're going to be disappointed when it hits. It's because if that's your end goal, then you're going to be lost. As soon as it hits, you're going to be like, what do I do now?
right.
But if you're confident in the way you lead, you enjoy doing it, by all means, keep doing it. Just be careful on burnout. It is very real, and it's once it hits, it's really hard to get rid of. Speaking from experience, because I've been there with both Amcard and mundane things. It's just it does take a toll.
Absolutely. All right. PJ, this is the last serious question, but I know this one's got some legs and it's gonna run. It's about your belt line.
Sorry, my dog decided to start chewing on something. Miles, I'll be right back to get this from him.
Okay. All right. So let's check to see what we have in the chat while we're let's see. This we are the miners of reverse psychology. Oh, minions.
I had a really nice tablet case. Puppies, I mean.
Oh, Miles.
Yeah, he is named after Miles Morales, Spider-Man, because he's an adorable black lab, and Spider-Man is probably growing up was one of my favorite superheroes, so I figured it was fitting.
Awesome.
The other one
right,
is we've got two with also a stray that we picked up last week, who I've been calling New Boy, and if you're familiar with the Farseer series, it's where that name comes from. But we call him Buddy usually because it's just easier to explain.
Right.
But question.
The question. Tell us about your belt line. Yeah.
Okay, so is there a starting point? Because this could get really in depth. It can go from the very originator and down, or it could start with, hey, this is where I'm at, and these are who are under me.
So this is a Kodiak tradition of saying it. Start at the beginning, and when you get
Okay.
to the end, stop.
In the beginning, there was Golwyn. So Sir Golwyn is Sir Golwyn Abuhu God. He is the first originator of the Who name. He was also another one that didn't have he started his own belt line. As from what I understand, he did not actually have somebody over him when he became a knight. He was one of the first people knighted in Neverwinter. I believe he was either second or third. He's also one of the founders of Neverwinter. There's pictures of him online with him at the clan actually where they allowed Neverwinter to become a kingdom officially back in 1999. So you say 2000 because we've been here for almost 20 years. So Golwyn begot Nocturne. So, but for my branch, this is probably how I'm going to go because there's multifaceted people under him that just kind of goes everywhere. He's actually got another one who's probably going to be knighted eventually, probably in the near future, who just got his warlord title. So he tends to breed warlords because that's one of his like top like creme de la creme like award that he received because he won I think 21 weapon masters in his career before he took his Sword Knight belt, which is, oh my god, that's longer than some people's careers.
Yep.
Longer than some people have been alive that play this game. But I'm fourth generation, so it would go Sir Golwyn, Abuhu God, to Sir Nocturne, Karuhu God, who's my Grand Knight, and then his former squire, Sir Venus, Hunuhu God. There's story behind the naming too, which we can get into later if you want to. And then after Sir Venus, I am fourth generation. She has brought two squires up to knighthood. My squire brother, Sir Clevra, who some of you might know as well. He did spend time, probably, I think it was a couple years he spent in Dragonspine. He was in Sunhaven.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in Sunhaven. He was part of that infamous the Kilt Girls video. He was in that. We saw that and we were like, oh my god, that's great because we know him and we grew up with him. He's actually been one of my best friends for a long time, even if he won't admit it. But like I said, there's my squire brother and myself have been the only two so far that have been brought up as knighthood, and she's got one more squire now, who technically I still claim as my squire brother because to me it's like once your parents have raised you and like kicked you out of the house, and they have a new kid, they don't stop being your sibling just because you're out on your own. So to me, that's how that works, even if it's weird to other people. But so under me, I have two squires and a page, who won't be a page much longer, but he's a good kid. He's getting upgraded. He just doesn't know it yet. Even though he'll probably see this and be like, "Oh my god!" And if he is, oops. But I do have my two squires. So the first one that I got the belt, who are still currently under me, is Squire Gilly. She's actually the current king. Sorry, the current queen of Neverwinter. She's gonna hit me for that. I see it now. She's also another person that I grew up with. So I've known her for feels like up to 1,000 years, but we met in elementary school, so we've known each other for quite some time. I was actually a part of her wedding party as well. So I was one of the groomsmen for her husband, who I've known. Philip's a great guy too. Roran, he's on a different path of whose, but he's still part of us. Then I have Rita, who I upgraded last year at Clan GOCT 2019, which I think you were there for that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I remember I was like, hey, you guys come too, because like this is kind of a big thing, and like I know when it comes to personal speeches with somebody, I'm a little awkward, and I felt like it was really shining right there, because actually it was right after Sir Randall got his third belt. So I was like, hey, we're all here anyway. Gilly, hold this, okay? Don't make it obvious. Oh, that's right, you have a sling on because you just broke your arm. Wonderful. So we got to bring her up. I gave her squire's knife, which is a tradition I like that I see every once in a while. So when you get elevated to squirehood, you get a knife to basically protect the person that you're under. So I think it's fun. So she actually got she got a copy of Sting. So I thought that was kind of cool because she's a fairy-ish and hobbits kind of. Someone's gonna like hate me for this, but I'm gonna say hobbits you're kind of like fae in my opinion, because this is as close as they're gonna get really in Middle Earth besides elves. Oh god, someone's gonna take my nerd card for that. I see it now. Oh gosh. But anyway, I thought it was fitting, and she absolutely adores it. She carries it on her belt wherever she goes. Actually, I gave her my old squire's belt because finding one, because I just for the love of me, like for the life of me, I can leathercraft a little bit, but I'm not like the be all end all, and like I can make something really pretty, but I know she can make something better than I can. So I was like, hey, have my hand me down for now, and I'll let you make your own belt, design it however you want. And she made the joke of making it an uwu pumpkin. Thanks for that, by the way. Yeah. I don't think I even heard that phrase until you guys started saying it last year. And then I've seen it everywhere. Oh my god. But so I've got my two squires. So Gilly and Rada. Then I have Tancred, who is he's about 17. But he's a super helpful kid, absolutely wonderful. He's got so much potential, and he kind of reminds me of me. Just I was fat and he's not. Actually, his dad. I was actually built to his dad too a long time ago. So to me, it was kind of fitting. And when his dad told me he kind of idolized me, I was like, I can't not though. At least help him out and doing things he wants to do. Because whenever if we're at an event and if I ever need something, I could be like, hey David, can you do this for me? Awesome. Like it doesn't take much, and he's absolutely wonderful. Like even without asking, he's like, hey PJ, you're working in the kitchen this weekend. Can I help you out? Yes. The more the merrier, because oh my gosh, kitchens can get hectic. especially at the Inner Kingdom events, which is where we spent most of last year. It felt like, but we really enjoyed it, like helping out and like because I know a lot of people weren't able to make who were helping out weren't able to make clans. So us being there and jumping in and helping. I know Miranda really appreciated it. I can't for the life of me remember her game name either, but she was an absolute sweet woman, and like she definitely let us know that we helped her out a lot. So that's really it for my belt line. So I've got my three. I tend not to get super big because I like to be able to help people and personally. So if it's too spread out, it's like you're stretching yourself out to be able to do things. But thankfully, like Gilly is self-sufficient. Like she's awesome. Like she comes to me for questions, and I know she goes other places too, which I definitely do encourage because I don't know everything. I wish I did, but I'm only human. And even if I knew everything, I don't think I want to know everything. But Gilly does actually going onto her side because technically they do, branch off me. Her two underbelts are phenomenal people. Penrin, who got to experience Clan last year for the first time and absolutely loved it. I don't think she ever left the battlefield. Like she was typically one of the first ones on there. She's super gung ho about fighting. That was probably her favorite aspect. And if you ever talk to her, don't let her fool you. She can craft. She makes amazing masks. I've seen pictures of anthropomorphic animals, furries, and they're stunning because like I have never thought to do that, and like she just does it with just spare materials, and they come out phenomenal. Her other underbelt though for Gilly is Rookie, who's a wonderful woman. I've known her for ages upon ages, and I kind of feel like her belt started off as like a sly like, hey, you want to be belted to me? When Gilly asked her, and it's just like she did take it eventually, but I don't know where I'm going with that. I really don't. But Rookie's an absolute wonderful woman as well. Who I'm really proud of her. She's lost a good amount of weight, like something I probably can never ever do. And I'm speechless because like it's phenomenal. It's inspirational. Really is. Yeah, especially because I mean her husband he's kind of a thinner guy. He's really tall and he puts away a lot of food, and he's just like, I remember him telling me there was a time where they were watching TV and he's sitting on the couch eating pizza and they're talking and she's sitting there like doing push-ups and he's just like, I feel like a fat ass right now. Sorry, weird tangent, but all in all, under me, there's 5 people, but 2 of them don't really like. They're not really my underbelts. They belong to Gilly. Not belong, but they're under Gilly.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I got to meet Penrin last year, or not last year, but the year previously, 2019. And we did some fighting. Yeah, super fun.
Like the only thing like she needs though is a little more confidence because like there's times I see her watching like she will find the best fighter on the field and she will spar with them for ages and she's like, I keep dying. You're taking on a sword knight. He's a warlord. You got at least 2 kills in there. You're doing wonderful. Now take that knowledge you just got and go beat up on them.
Yeah,
they're not going to expect it.
That's actually the first time we fought in 2019. She was out in front of the main cabin at GOTC fighting Sir Sane.
Yeah.
And she was in the line, and Sane was just, okay, die. And I experience that every week. So I was like, well, I'll get in line because, whatever. And yeah, in line, she was like, I don't know what to do. Like, he's a sword knight. And a very, very, very good sword knight. And I deal with him weekly. So just pump the brakes. It'll be fine.
Actually, on her 21st birthday, it was actually it was really enjoyable because the thing she wanted to do mostly was just spar. So we like made her take her like celebratory shot. Not saying where this was, but it was a celebratory shot. It was tequila, and then she, we imbibed a little bit, and then she was like, okay, I want to go fight, and then decides to go fight on a warlord. And just like, dude, at least take it easy. You just like. I mean, I'm super proud of everybody under me. Like, but watching like some of them basically, come to their own in this game it makes it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. All right, that is all the serious questions we have.
Okay.
Now to the funny questions. Well, funny. Still
Right.
would like to know: bears, boars, bisons, or badgers?
Now I did have an answer for this. Okay, this one I found really interesting. So there's an obvious answer here. I'm not going to choose badgers because honestly, they're not going to care if I choose them or not. Because honey badgers don't give a. So whether I choose them or not, they're going to go on their merry business and just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Now, bison and boars, they're super resilient. They're yes, they're prey animals, but still, they will mess you up if you get too close. So if I had to actually choose, I'm gonna go with the apex predator. I'm gonna choose bear. So just because if I get into a fight with them, I know I can't take any of them, but at least that one's probably gonna be the quickest death.
Just as a spoiler, the 4 animals that are listed are 4 of the 6 founding members of the Order of the Ash. Magna Hill, Locke, Deverick, and myself. And you chose the bear, which means you chose me again. Still hat 4-0.
I mean, it wasn't on purpose, but that was my mental process when I saw that question. I was like,
Okay. Still would like to know: what is the proper strategy to fighting a bear?
Okay, so I prepared this one too because this one was I found also entertaining because it was once again another bear question. Do. Okay, so the gist of what I wrote down, which I don't remember where I got it, because like I said, I got pages upon pages of notes because I wanted to be super prepared, but unfortunately, I didn't name them off or I didn't mark them as to which questions were which. So the general idea with this is that fighting a bear, you don't fight a bear. You give it snacks, and you either get out of there or you try to befriend it. Because if you fight it, you are not going to win. So
The alternate story of
entice it with snacks. What's that?
I just turned in for Quality Street the alternate story of Kodiak's beginnings, which is Deverick finds me in the woods and straps 2 swords to my hands, and then lures me to the kingdom of Dragonspine with honey, and then puts a crown on my head. That's essentially the alternate story to Kodiak. So
okay. Yeah. So he did exactly my advice. Good job. You entice it with snacks and you befriend it.
Still, I would also like to know: are birds real, and can we trust them in office?
Okay, now this I felt was almost a serious questions. Okay, so I want to believe that birds are real, even though they can be detrimental to pumpkin patches, because like we need scarecrows to keep them away. Like I want to believe, even though it scares me a little bit, I have to believe because there has to be good with bad. So we shouldn't not trust birds as a whole because that becomes stereotypes like birds are untrustworthy. You shouldn't have that. Each of them should be based upon their own merit, and we should see them as worthy candidates based upon what they've done in the past or what they plan to do in the future. So to wrap it up, birds I hope are real, and stereotypes are bad. So based on individual merit.
Again, PJ, a little bit of insight here. He is directly targeting who happens to be our current Kingdom Prime Minister. I don't know. That's how the relationship works.
Okay. So I'm not sure I trust PMs. So there's a part. So backstory on that. I do trust PMs. Unfortunately, during my first reign as king, there was an incident that happened. We ended up banning our PM because a large amount of funds went missing. This isn't news to anybody. I mean, it was nationwide. It kind of got picked up and people saw it. It happened, and so we were able to recover some of the funds, and or the player in question no longer plays, and actually rest his soul. He actually did end up passing on an unrelated note. A couple years after that. So I really do trust PMs. So there's no hard feelings. Just I feel like it was a poorly timed joke, and I do apologize for that. So
that's fine. Still would like to know 3 things to survive on a desert island.
Okay. So the 3 things I did choose when I did see this question earlier was flint. Oh gosh. And it was flint and a flask and something else I needed. Because I know it says to survive. So if we're gonna survive, we need things to actually for survival, not for like, hey, I'm gonna need a raft, an aircraft carrier, and whatnot. Because you need to survive on the island itself. Um, I had this. Like I said, I am not prepared as usual because on me. Do. Oh gosh, I feel like I had a really good answer for this, but I wrote these like yesterday and today.
Well, you had
Oh, a knife. Duh, a knife. So a knife, flint, and a flask. And I feel like I probably won't live too long, but I can survive for a small amount of time. So I can at least, cut things up, make some rope out of, the fibers of some sort of tree or some sort of plant that's there. I can make a fire and, at least something to carry water with that I knew was going to be okay. Because, I mean, for all I know, there's not going to be coconut. So I can't just crack one open and have a bowl. So there has to be sort of device for water. So if I had to choose three things, flint, knife, flask.
El Diablo, what is your beard made of?
My beard is made of, okay, so you know that when you leave a blanket out in the sun or some sort of like clothing out in the sun for too long, like when it's nice and hot, when you touch that afterwards, it's like that. It's like happiness and like a warm towel. That's probably as close as I can get because surprisingly, my beard is soft. I mean, I do condition it and whatnot because you kind of have to, otherwise it gets gnarly and scraggly. This is probably the shortest I've had it in a while. I do like to grow it out every once in a while, but my partner decides to like it a little shorter because I don't look like a homeless guy. So, yeah, if I want to keep the peace, I gotta at least, I'm not saying you look like a homeless guy. I'm not saying it. I'm implying it.
Yeah, thinking it really hard.
I mean, clearly you've got some sort of shelter over you. You've got a wall at least. So
it's actually the only thing that's here. The outside is right there. This is just a wall.
I'm impressed you can get signal out there because normally when I'm on the streets, I can't get nothing.
It's a house. It's just not mine. Moving on.
Okay, so you're not homeless, you're a squatter. There's a difference.
Still would like to know, what should the Bears cook next?
Okay, so with this, I did have some follow-up questions because I did see this question and I was like, so for whom are we cooking and what are we cooking and why? So if it's like a feast, it's going to be a different answer than be like, hey, we're going to make some snacks for everybody. Because, I mean, is there a budget? Is it all on your own? Because if it's just the bare basics, I can make bread with like 3 ingredients tops. I mean, and we can drizzle it with some nice honey or a honey butter spread. So we can make just about anything you want. So I'm going to say a rolls with honey butter spread to appease the rest of the Bear Nation because obviously you guys are doing a lot and tremendous work for being in office. So treat yourself.
I'm not saying that you have to have that for next GOTC, but
me or her, because
well, you said you could do it with three
ingredients. Yeah, but it's got to have time though. So I mean, salt, yeast, flour, and water. So if I have that, I can make a nice solid roll or nice solid bread. So things you pick up during COVID. Technically, I was actually baking before COVID, but I started doing more. And then, mental health takes over and you're like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, 2 more questions. Still would like to know, would you attend a Bardic where the Bears of
yes
the monarchy?
Yes, absolutely. And if the Eldritch Horror song Jolene, yes, I might even sing with you. I thoroughly enjoy Bardics, at least watching them. Every once in a while, if I have enough courage, I will partake. The last one I was at, actually, I think it was last year, was GOTC or the year before. I was hanging out with Clever, so it wasn't last year, it was the year before that. So we actually stayed kind of close to the end, and I did a rendition of it was from Into the Woods, the song the two princes do together. Agony. I did a rendition of Agony by myself and like forgot half the words halfway through because I was like, guys, what I did was bad. Don't be me. And of course, Clever decided to do a very interesting joke about sheep and Scotsman and The Old Farmer. Not repeating it here. Oh, God. But he was known for that, not anything else he
Right.
did this whole time.
Well, still had part of that question suggests that I have to sing, which has been a push as of late. Is that Kodiak needs to sing for some reason? So maybe we'll see.
Okay, tell you what, the way you bypass that, spoken word poetry. So one of my favorite renditions, I can't remember the name of the song. It's like, "Baby, you got what I need."
Mhm.
You tell me just a friend. Yeah, that song. Earl Liam out of South Florida, he actually did a beautiful rendition of that, and it's just so amazing. I think he scored first place or second place in the Dragon Master because of that. At that time, this was like probably a good 15 years ago. It feels like maybe 10. I get my timeline screwed up all the time. I'm so sorry. But that was kind of another reason why I would become a bard too, because like just watching him, he's also, I think he's one of our earlier Paragon Master Bards as well. Phenomenal guy too. Unfortunately, he doesn't play much anymore. He's got other things going on in his life.
Right. Okay. The last question. Still, I would like to know, because no one asks adults, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Okay, so it's kind of a toss-up. When I was a kid, it was Brontosaurus because they were huge, they were massive, long necks. Plus, Land Before Time was a huge thing when I was a kid. So, yeah, why not? But if I had to choose a secondary option, it definitely Triceratops because there's three and you just can't top it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sir Pumpkin Jack, that is the end of my questions. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I do enjoy it.
Not a problem. A couple announcements for the KOK viewers, Dragon Spine specifically. We do have an amendment vote that is due by this Saturday at midnight, along with all of the monarchy voting. Kodiak, do that. Also,
got my vote.
Thank you. Additionally, End Rain will be the 7th on Zoom. There'll be a link sent out for that. And next month, not next week, but next month, I did get Michael Hammer of God to agree to come on KOK. So,
all right,
look at me doing all the things.
Yeah, that's an impressive one. Like you could have somebody lowly like me, or like, boom, the be all end all for Belted Knight.
Oh no, I did announcements and I didn't do Morgan's questions because Morgan's questions came in right at the end. Oh no. So we're going to move to Morgan's questions.
Real quick, what we got?
Morgan asks, they're all funny. How long are the dreams of butterflies?
Okay, so butterflies. I've never thought about it. So, because I've never seen butter sleep, nor have I seen it fly. It's usually in my fridge.
Oh.
So, because it's usually cold, most things tend to hibernate when it's cold. So I would say pretty extensive.
Okay.
Butterflies dream a lot.
So birds are real, but butterflies themselves may not exist.
I can prove it to you. I've got butter in my fridge right now.
Okay. Morgan would like to know, what is the most interesting thing you've ever set on fire?
On what?
On fire.
Most interesting I've ever set on fire.
Yep.
For legal reasons, I'm going to go with something not the most interesting thing I've set on fire. Probably some wooden pallets.
Yep.
For legal reasons, we're going to go with some pallets because we're all teenagers at one time or another. We all play with fire. Some of us become firefighters. Some of us become arsons.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm an arson. Jack-o'-lanterns. There we go. Gotcha. Jack-o'-lanterns. Not necessarily set on fire, but put a fire inside. Got that.
Morgan would like to know, if you could meet any famous person in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, Freddie Mercury. Like, definitely. Those set up pipes. That would be amazing. I will go back. I will just casually observe them filming at least some of their songs because Bicycle is a wonderful hit. Christmas is the time to say I love you. Bohemian Rhapsody, of course, it's up there. But everyone would go with that song. But there's so many other songs like Fat Bottom Girls. Yes, they do make the rock and world go round. Oh my god, I forgot we're live.
Okay, and we're still live. Morgan would like to know, what is the coolest animal and or fantasy creature that you would like to size up to a dinosaur?
Okay, so currently it is a kobold, only because in a one-shot D&D campaign I'm playing right now, I'm playing a kobold bard, and just watching him wreak havoc like that would be amazing because he's already got the features, and plus he's a smooth talker. Like off the rip, his charisma, his persuasion modifier is 18 at level 3, and that's to me it's crazy because I'm used to playing earlier editions, but 18 just regardless. So like watching him the smooth talk his way into anything as a giant dinosaur size like a T-Rex, yes. Oh my god, yes. Plus, watching him use his coward, beg, and plea ability would be amazing too, because it'd be hilarious to watch a giant size, T-Rex size kobold just start there and crying. Nobody just bother him.
Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite jack-o'-lantern?
Probably the one I made last year. I did a headless horseman on a jack-o'-lantern. Like, I'm not the greatest, but I feel like that I've made improvements over the years doing that. I did see a picture actually. My sister's boyfriend tagged me in one, and it's Ghastly, the Pokemon Ghastly, and it's got the eyes carved out really nice. So, and it's not all the way through, so it kind of has the shadow effect. And inside it, they put purple smoke, so it kind of just comes off of it. And oh my god, it was gorgeous.
That's
I
awesome.
want to do this, but I don't know how to make the smoke. And I figured that out. I'm gonna try it and set that on fire. I mean, yes.
And lastly, Morgan would just like to point out that pumpkin soup is delicious.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ask my gnome. He'll eat them raw. Ask next time you see Rita. Ask her and Penryn about the gnome that eats pumpkins.
Okay.
Decorational ones only.
Okay, will do. Sir Pumpkin Jack, now we're at the end of our interview. Thank you so much for coming on. We already did announcements. So until next time, I've been Kodiak. This is Kingdom of Kodiak. Goodbye.